Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session. I am delighted to have you here. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic. Termites in the system, need to weed them out. I'll be sharing insights on how these pests can affect our systems and what steps we can take to eliminate them. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the common issues caused by termites and the strategies for effective removal. So let's get started and delve into this crucial subject. India aimed to become a US $5 trillion economy by 2024-25, which was a bold and ambitious goal. We set our sights high, reflecting the country's strong aspirations for growth and development. As of now, India has emerged as the world's fourth largest economy, with a GDP of about $4.5 trillion. This shows how far we've come in a relatively short period. However, it's important to recognize that our economic progress isn't without challenges. Financial frauds and economic offenders can affect growth, undermine trust, and create hurdles in our journey forward. So, while India's economic growth is impressive, addressing these issues remains crucial for sustaining and accelerating our progress. This slide highlights both our achievements and the areas we need to focus on to ensure a stable and inclusive economic future. Today, let's take a closer look at the scale of financial frauds in our country. Currently, these frauds involve nearly 60,000 crore rupees, which is a staggering amount. To address this issue, the government introduced the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act in 2018. This legislation specifically targets offenders involved in economic crimes worth 100 crore rupees or more. One of the challenges we face is that many of these offenders avoid prosecution by staying abroad, making it difficult for authorities to bring them to justice. This is where the concept of fugitive economic offenders becomes crucial, as it aims to close the loopholes and ensure accountability for those who attempt to escape the law by fleeing the country. This connects to our broader theme of strengthening legal frameworks to combat economic crimes effectively. Let's take a closer look at the issue of willful defaulters in India. Currently, there are around 3,000 corporate borrowers classified as willful defaulters. These are companies that have deliberately defaulted on their loans, often by diverting or misusing funds. The outstanding dues of these defaulters amount to nearly 2 lakh crore rupees, which is a significant figure and a serious concern for the financial system. The Reserve Bank of India defines willful default specifically as a situation where a borrower diverts or misuses funds that were meant for a particular purpose, or otherwise defaults intentionally despite having the capacity to repay. This behavior not only impacts the lenders, but also undermines the credibility of the entire credit ecosystem. Understanding who these willful defaulters are and their impact is crucial because it connects directly to the overall theme of strengthening financial discipline and ensuring responsible lending. Addressing this issue is key to maintaining financial stability and promoting a healthier lending environment. Now, let's take a closer look at how borrowers approach the NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, or IBC. As of early 2026, there are over 31,000 cases pending before the NCLT. That's a significant backlog, and according to the Economic Survey, it could take nearly 10 years to clear this entire backlog. When we consider the scale, around 15 lakh crore rupees are involved in these pending cases, which highlights both the scope and the seriousness of the issue. These challenges with the IBC and NCLT are crucial because they directly impact the efficiency of resolving insolvencies and the overall health of our financial system. It shows us that while the framework exists, there are still significant hurdles to ensure timely resolution of distressed assets. Now, let's look at the scale of loan write-offs by public sector banks over the past few years. They've written off approximately 6,15,000 crore rupees in just 5.5 years. That's a staggering amount, reflecting the challenges banks face in managing non-performing assets. In the current financial year, 2024-25, the top 10 borrowers alone account for about 37,000 crore rupees in write-offs. This highlights how a few large borrowers can significantly impact the bank's balance sheets. Despite these write-offs, it's important to note that gross NPAs, non-performing assets, remain around 2.15% of the total advances. While this might seem relatively controlled, it still signifies ongoing asset quality concerns that the banking sector needs to address. All of these figures tie back to the broader theme of banking health and risk management. Managing NPAs and loan write-offs is crucial for maintaining financial stability and ensuring banks can continue supporting economic growth. Today, I want to highlight some critical environmental and sustainability concerns we're facing globally. In 2024, the global temperature has already risen by about 1.55 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. That might not sound like a huge number, but it has significant impacts on our planet. We've seen glaciers melting rapidly around the world, which contributes to rising sea levels and disrupts ecosystems. At the same time, forest cover is shrinking, which not only affects biodiversity, but also reduces the planet's ability to absorb carbon dioxide. All of these changes are driven by the overexploitation of natural resources, whether it's deforestation, mining, or overfishing. Unfortunately, this reckless use threatens the very sustainability of our environment. These issues are interconnected and underscore the urgent need for more sustainable practices. They remind us that our actions today directly impact the health of our planet tomorrow. Let's take a look at some major scandals, both abroad and in India, that have rocked the corporate world. On the international front, we have well-known cases like Enron, Tyco, Lehman Brothers, and Volkswagen. These scandals involved everything from accounting fraud to unethical practices, and they really shook investor confidence globally. In India, we've seen scandals like Satyam, Sahara, and Kingfisher. Each of these cases highlights different issues, ranging from corporate governance failures to financial mismanagement, that ultimately led to significant losses for stakeholders. Now, what's really important to understand here is that these corporate scandals don't just stay isolated incidents. They tend to create cascading economic effects, impacting not just the companies involved, but also the wider economy. When trust breaks down, it affects investor confidence, employment, and even the stability of financial markets. So, these scandals serve as stark reminders of why strong ethical practices and transparency are vital in business. They also underscore the importance of effective regulation and oversight to prevent such failures from happening in the future. As we look towards building resilient economies, it's crucial that they are protected from financial and environmental shocks. These shocks can come unexpectedly and have serious impacts, so insulation and preparedness are key. Sustainability plays a vital role here because it encourages us to use natural and human resources responsibly. By doing so, we ensure that our growth doesn't come at the expense of future generations or the health of our planet. Of course, all this depends heavily on strong implementation of laws and regulations. Without effective enforcement, even the best policies won't lead to real change. In summary, creating sustainable economies is essential for long-term stability. It's about being proactive, responsible, and committed to protecting both our environment and our societies. This aligns perfectly with our overall goal of fostering resilient and prosperous communities. Economic sustainability really hinges on transparency and accountability. When governments and organizations are open about their actions and responsible for their decisions, it builds trust and ensures resources are used effectively. Without these qualities, efforts to promote growth can falter or even lead to corruption. That's why taking strict action against offenders is so crucial. We need to enforce rules firmly and ensure that those who break the law face appropriate consequences. Specifically, in the context of India's growth, ethical governance and effective law enforcement are fundamental. They serve as the backbone for sustainable development, making sure that progress benefits everyone fairly and lasts over time. So, in summary, for our country to truly advance, we must prioritize transparency, enforce accountability, and uphold strong ethical standards in governance. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the presentation. As we reach the final slide, I want to emphasize the key takeaways. First, we've explored how understanding the core concepts is essential for effective implementation. Second, the importance of connecting ideas clearly helps ensure everyone is on the same page. Third, applying these insights consistently leads to better results and continuous improvement. Ultimately, all of these points tie back to the overall theme, that thoughtful, deliberate action drives success. So, I encourage you to take these lessons forward and apply them in your own work. Remember, progress is a collective effort, and your engagement makes all the difference. Thank you again for your time and attention.